Welcome to Bedtime History. Can you imagine living at a time when there were no telephones or internet or any way to talk to others far away? Not long ago, that is how people lived. Instead of making phone calls, they wrote letters to each other, but often it took many, many days for the letters to arrive. Imagine if you had something very important to tell someone, but they wouldn't find out for weeks. In America, during the times of pioneers and cowboys, there was a creative businessman named William Russell who had a genius idea. He started a company and called it the Pony Express. To deliver mail, he would use horses and riders to ride as fast as they could to deliver letters. From the state of Missouri to California, across thousands of miles, there would be many stations. At each station, there was a new horse and rider who would grab the mail and ride as fast as they could to the next station. Instead of letters taking a very long time, they could go across the country in just 10 days. That was very fast. Not only did Russell and his company need fast riders, but they also needed brave riders. The journey from Missouri to California could be very dangerous. They might be attacked by a wild animal or thieves who wanted to take the mail. The posters looking for riders said, "Young, skinny, wiry fellows, not over 18, must be expert riders, willing to risk death daily. Orphans preferred." But even though it was dangerous, many young riders were brave and volunteered to help. One of these young riders was Bill Cody. Bill was only 15 years old at the time he started riding for the Pony Express. During one of his trips from Wyoming, he was riding his horse when suddenly an entire gang of natives burst out of the trees and started chasing him on their horses. Bill looked back in fear as they raised their guns and started firing at him. Bullets whizzed past his head as he ducked down and spurred the horse as hard as he could. The horse moved faster and faster as the natives fired again and again. Bill thought for sure he was done for, but he cried out to the horse and kicked and rode as hard as he could, lying flat against the horse's back. Soon the natives disappeared behind him, and he rode and rode until he reached the next station safely. Bill later became known as Buffalo Bill Cody and was famous for his show that toured all across America. Another famous Pony Express rider was Bob Haslam, who became known as Pony Bob. Bob was born in England and came across the ocean to America when he was just a boy. His family moved to Salt Lake City, and there he worked on a ranch as a messenger. He was known for being brave and loyal and always got the job done. Loyal is when someone can trust you because you do what you say you're going to do. When Bob was 20, he joined the Pony Express. Like Bill Cody, he rode at a time when Native American Indians were very dangerous in the area. During one ride, he got to the station only to find that Indians were on the warpath and he could not stop. So even though he and his horse were very tired, he kept on riding. He persevered. Perseverance is when you keep doing something, even though you are tired and want to give up. Bob kept riding until he reached the next station, only to find that it was under attack as well. He did not know what to do. He and his horse were tired and hungry. He knew he had to get the job done and deliver the mail, so he kept on riding. Once he reached the next station, he handed his mail off and rested for 9 hours. But Bob wasn't done yet. He picked up the next bag of mail, hopped on his horse, and rode back the other direction. His 380-mile trip was the longest Pony Express ride in history. From then on, he was known as Pony Bob and remembered for his amazing ride. Later, when Pony Bob grew old and passed away, the newspaper printed, "Pony Bob Haslam, who knew no fear, dies in Chicago, a man once famous throughout the United States for his courage, endurance, and skill." Even though the Pony Express was an amazing venture, it only lasted a year and a half, because not long after, the telegraph was invented. The telegraph was a very long wire that stretched across the country. The wire could be used to send messages at lightning speeds. Because of this, the Pony Express was no longer needed. But riders like Buffalo Bill and Pony Bob and the others will always be known in history for their perseverance and bravery. If you enjoyed this episode, you can go to facebook.com/bedtime history and like our page and share it with your friends. You can also find our videos at youtube.com/bedtime history.